Des Anglais s'entendent. C'est un plaisir de revoir tout le monde et bienvenue encore à une nouvelle semaine. Hello everybody and welcome again to English 101 and welcome to Module 3. Before we start with the particularities of our module, rather than a joke, I'd like to start with an interesting fact that pertains to space. So check this out. There's a black hole in our galaxy with a mass equal to 4 billion of our suns. 4 billion. That's our space fact for the week. Pretty far out, huh? So let's take a look at our calendar here. This week we have, look at this, we have our very first essay prompt. Hooray! We are progressing nicely. And the corresponding brainstorm for that. The brainstorm for it will actually be due this next Sunday, so by the 12th of September. And another thing we're doing this week is intertextuality. That is our topic for this week. What, Mr. Godoy? Well, by the end of this week's module, you'll be able to tell me and tell your friends and tell your siblings about intertextuality. So get excited. And there's a corresponding homework assignment that goes with intertextuality, and that worksheet will be due the 19th. So as you can tell, it's not the next Sunday, but the Sunday after that. So you still have time for that. So just make sure to mark your calendars, and you can be intentional with working on what is due first. The first one being the brainstorm. So get that out of the way, get that completed. And after you have done that, then do the MLA practice worksheet, which goes with intertextuality. Because this week, believe it or not, my friends, you're going to learn to create your very own works cited page without having to be dependent on Son of Citation Machine. You'll be able to do it on your own. So that is what we have in store for us. And with that, let's open up our Canvas module for this week. So intertextuality and dream chasing, which happens to be the name of our first essay. So first thing you'll see is the video, the lesson that I created for intertextuality and creating the works cited page. So check this one out. After that, within here, you'll see that these are the corresponding notes within that intertextuality video. So open these up. These are the notes that I created for our lesson here. So open it up and have it open as you're checking out the video. So after that, we have also a sample essay that I make reference to in the lecture. So these are the corresponding notes for our lesson of the week. Now let's continue and see what else we have for us this week. You know, my camera shot here is quite big. I'm gonna move it a little to the corner. Okay, so that is that. Oh, this is the MLA practice worksheet that is going to correspond with learning to make your own works cited page. So that is in here, and as you can see, that is going to be due on the 19th. So that means that you'll be seeing this assignment link in the next module as well. But just take note of that, jot it down in your calendar. All right, so that is that one, and the worksheet is in here. This is cool. Okay, so something else that we're going to do in this video is that I'm going to introduce you to the actual prompt itself. Now, in order to front load this topic of dream chasing, we have this super interesting, and it blew my mind, article about the creator of Hot Cheetos. So read this article. After you've read it, you're gonna have a corresponding discussion board, and this is what you'll be responding to. What surprised you about this article? What key traits do you see in Montaña's story that helped him to achieve success? What can you take away from his example when it comes to the chasing of your own dreams? Dreams? Is there anything else you'd like to add? Because it's a discussion board, remember to respond to the actual task here in at least a solid paragraph, which is at least 4 meaty sentences. And just as you've been doing, you have to select at least one classmate's post to respond to in at least 2 meaty sentences, because it is a discussion board, right? So do that. To get the full credit, you have to respond to both the task here and to a classmate. Next thing, we have the actual prompt itself. So check it out. So now that we have front loaded it, now that you have read the dream chasing essay, the article of Richard Montañez and Hot Cheetos, now we can dive into our prompt here. So check this out. This is our first prompt. Dream chasing essay. Ooh, I really like this picture. He's like, whoa, I'm a Hot Cheetos tycoon. I'm surrounded by Hot Cheetos. I like this picture a lot. It's pretty epic. Okay, so check this out. In the article entitled How a Janitor at Frito-Lay Invented Flaming Hot Cheetos by Zachary Crockett, we see that an important part of achieving dreams/success requires taking risks and being brave. This means moving forward despite our fears and anxieties. The thing about a dream/success is that it does not look the same for everybody. These dreams and definitions of success can range from entrepreneurship, helping others, family-oriented goals, artistic ambitions, etc. There is no monolithic dream or definition of success, as each varies from person to person. So here's your task. Here's the central question that you're going to be responding to. Now, if you'll recall from the when we were looking at the thesis statement, remember that's where you establish your project. But there's something else that you do in a thesis, and that is answer the question if you are given one. If your prompt is giving you a question, then you have to directly answer it in your thesis. So yes, absolutely. In your thesis, you have to answer this. Here is the essential question for our first paper. If there were no limitations or fear holding you back, what would you say is your largest goal/dream? Some guiding questions to help your thinking. What is holding you back? Can you do anything about it? If so, what are some of the steps that you can take now? What can you take from Richard Montañez's story as you move forward on your journey? And you'll have opportunities to write even more guiding questions in the brainstorm, which you'll see in the next video. So remember, all goals are made up of smaller steps. So the baby steps that you take today add up to a larger goal/dream that you can achieve tomorrow. In other words, all large objectives are made up of micro investments. I'll say that again. Anytime you see anybody achieve a goal or a large objective, you're seeing a composite of micro investments. I kind of see it like it's a glass jar, right? And to represent the achievement of a goal, we'll say that when it's full of marbles, right? So because there's only so many hours in a day, you just put in a marble per day, and you be consistent. You keep putting marbles in, and with time, you'll fill the jar. So that's what I mean by all objectives, which in this case equates to the glass jar full of marbles, are made up of micro investments. The micro investments are each individual marble, right? So take baby steps, take things one thing at a time, just be consistent. So in terms of format requirements, we're looking at MLA, right? That's the format that we use for this class in the humanities. 1-inch margins all around. Again, I talk about that in the MLA setup. Times New Roman / Arial font. So no wingdings. Do you guys know what wingdings font is? They're funny fonts that have like peace signs and all that. So 12-point font, double space it, a works cited page, and now with this module, you're going to know how to create your own works cited page. So challenge yourself and try to make the works cited page based on what you learned from this module. See if you can do it without the help of Son of Citation Machine. And you might be saying, Mr. Godoy, why do we need a works cited page? Just what work are we going to be citing? Well, remember, we are front loading this essay with this article, right? How a janitor at Frito-Lay invented flaming hot Cheetos by Zachary Crockett. And I actually provided that article in the discussion board, which is the task before this one, right here in our module. This is important, guys. The minimum length requirement is at least 3.5 double-spaced pages. Now, I do dock points if you don't hit that, so do be mindful and write enough. And it should be easy, right? Because you are the primary source in this case, right? You're talking about your goal, your dream, right? So this is the distribution of points. The essay itself is worth 100 points. We will be having a peer review workshop, and I'll explain that when it comes about, how we'll carry that out and what the logistics of it will be. That'll be worth 20 points. Just following MLA format correctly and having a works cited page will be 5 points. So for a total of 125 points, right? Here are the important dates. Now, the brainstorm, like I mentioned, is going to be due by next Sunday, September 12th, by 11:59 p.m., right? And I'll explain the brainstorm in the next video. The workshop, you're going to submit your rough draft by the 15th of September, so it's coming up. I'll explain that. Essentially what a rough draft will be is just you getting started on your essay. It'll be the step after the brainstorm. It'll you just be taking a stab, making an attempt at writing the paper itself. And I'll explain that more as the time comes, but I'm giving you this date so that in your mission control, for me, my mission control is a wall calendar. By the way, a mission control is a thing that you use to help organize your dates, right? For me, it's a wall calendar, and I write all my deadlines and dates and everything I have to know so that I can look ahead and intentionally plan, right, and see what's coming up ahead and put all of my efforts towards the closest one and then be working on what's coming up next and so on and so forth. So I give you these dates for that so that you can mark your calendars. The final draft itself will be due by September 26th. And here's the rubric. So strong papers for this essay will have the following traits. You have to answer the question in your thesis, just like I said, right? Because that's where you establish your project, right? We have a central question for this essay, and it's this one. If there were no limitations or fear holding you back, what would you say is your largest goal/dream? So answer the question in your thesis. That's important. Demonstrates clear, insightful, relevant, and deep critical thinking. Treatment of topic is thorough. Has strong and for organization. Has strong and engaging intro and conclusion. Organizes body paragraphs to all speak back and somehow support their central thesis. So think about it like this. If in the thesis, that is the place in the intro where you establish all your project for the paper, then each following paragraph, each body paragraph, has a topic sentence that essentially does the same thing. It establishes the project of each body paragraph. So there's topic sentence and there's supporting sentences, right? The supporting sentences support the topic sentence. So what I'm trying to get at is this. Every topic sentence, every topic of your paragraph in general, has to somehow point back to your answer of this question. That's why it's so important. And that's why we have a space for it to think about in our brainstorm, to be working on the thesis. So that's what the questions there are geared towards, to help your thinking towards crafting that thesis and how you would respond to that question. Employs effective transitions. So I remember from module 1, we learned about the importance of transitions. Like, you don't just jump from one unrelated topic to the next without really explicitly pushing the point of commonality, which is the bridge, right? You have to explicitly make it clear just what one topic and the next have in common, right? To bridge them, right? Remember the example on Fortnite, right? One moment in one paragraph we were talking about video games in a more general sense and their popularity. Then we moved on, to support that. Video games are so popular that people watch others play video games online through Twitch. And then all of a sudden, in the next one, I just started talking about the specific title of Fortnite. You all caught on to that and were able to create a transition. So I applaud you for that. Round of applause. Square of applause. Triangle of applause. But yeah, that's the point. In that example of Fortnite, you needed to create that point of commonality just to make it clear. Okay, well, one of the more popular game titles is Fortnite that people watch others stream online. So find that point of commonality. Don't leave it hanging, right? And that's what transitions are. They're bridges that you create, both within a paragraph, like as you're shifting from a topic and a subtopic or something about it, and also from one paragraph to the next, right? If you're going to make a jump about one topic to the next, you need to create that bridge. You need to say just what that point of commonality is, and what that looks like. It could be a sentence or two, and it could be, if you're doing from paragraph to paragraph, it could be maybe at the end of the paragraph before the next one, or at the start of the next one. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you have that, right? As long as you have that transition. Obviously, now that we learned MLA, you got to do MLA. If you use any outside sources, and you got to cite them, which is something that we're going to learn in this intertextuality lesson. Remember, always give credit where credit is due. Few or no errors in spelling, punctuation, grammar, or format. So that should go without saying. It's just good practice to always proofread, always edit before turning in any final draft, right? Distinctive voice and appropriate point of view. So this essay is a narrative, right? Because it's a narrative, absolutely, you can use I. You're talking about yourself, right? You could take that first person point of view. Don't use third person point of view, like kind of like what, like you're detached from it, like what one must do to achieve one's goal. That's all right, but it's more impactful. Like you can use I because it's a narrative, right? Tell me about your goal, about your dream. That's the whole point of this. Much like what we had to front load our essay with this article, right? So that is the essay prompt, and those are the particularities of it. Let me go ahead and close this here. Okay, so I have included some student sample essays of 3 anonymous students who had good submissions, and you can check those out to just have an idea of what a potential iteration of this assignment could look like. So I've included those sample essays. The next thing we have is the brainstorm assignment link. Check out this video here where I'll explain how to actually do the brainstorm, right? Yep. For this one, excuse me, I actually need to plug in my charger. I don't want my battery to die, and if it does, that would be bad because we're in the middle of a video. Oh, technology. Okay, so if you actually, let me show you the worksheet itself. If you type in your answers, that's cool. Just remember to turn it in as either .doc, .docx, or PDF. Module format, and if you use Google Docs, make sure to convert it into one of those. Or what you can also do, guys, is print it, write it out in pen, write out your responses in pen, and you can either and then you can scan it or take a good picture of it or whatever, and submit that. Just all I want you to do is make sure to do this. It's an important part of the writing process. And it's worth points. It's your assignment. So this will be due by next Sunday, September 12th by 11:59 p.m. And that is what we have for this module. Just want to make sure that was it for this module. Yes, indeed, that is what we have. So with that, my friends, my dear 101ers, I wish you a beautiful week. Keep working hard, keep being consistent, keep being awesome. And now the sun is calming down, it's less hot. So I encourage you to go on a bike ride, go on a run, walk your dog, enjoy the outdoors. We're here in SoCal with awesome weather. All right, guys, enjoy your week, keep working hard.